Blog Talk Radio.
What if you got rewarded for every good decision? What if your heart had a special way of letting you know it appreciates your healthy choices?
I've got to get my family to eat more vegetables.
Amazing!
And instead of cooking with butter tonight, I think I'll saute our veggies with heart-healthy oil.
You're a genius! So really, would your food choices pay off in heart health? Did you know that when you replace bad fats with healthier fats, like those in canola or other vegetable oils, it can lower bad cholesterol levels, and that's good for your heart. Here's a winning idea. Take up the challenge for good health, because the you of the future will say,
Fantastic!
Learn more at heart.org/facethefats. Canola Info proudly supports the American Heart Association's Face the Fats campaign.
Good evening, and welcome to Storytellers Campfire. I'm your host, Rich-Gehlhausen. Storytellers Campfire is a world literacy and educational program with a listening audience in over 100 countries. Storytellers Campfire is aired every Sunday evening at 8 p.m. Pacific Time. You can now listen to our program on your telephone or your cell phone by calling our studio line phone number at 310-982-4134. Again, that number, 310-982-4134. To learn more about Storytellers Campfire, visit us online at www.storytellerscampfire.org. Now, for this evening's featured presentation, I'll interview Matthew Fairfax regarding human trafficking, the global sexual exploitation of young women and children, and the Justice and Soul Foundation. But first, we'll take a short commercial break, and we'll be right back.
Did you know 26 million Americans have kidney disease and most don't know it?
The day I was diagnosed, I didn't know what to do. I called the National Kidney Foundation, and the young lady who answered stayed on the phone with me and walked me through step by step. She, too, was surviving kidney disease. And she showed me there could be life after kidney disease.
Visit the National Kidney Foundation at kidney.org. Now, you know.
Welcome back to Storytellers Campfire in Progress. I'm your host, Rich Gehlhausen. And with us this evening is Matthew Fairfax. Now, Matthew is the business owner of the James Allen Salon and Spa in Seattle, Washington. And in 2012, Matthew co-founded, along with a lady named Laura Lauren Ebright, founded the Justice and Soul Foundation. Good evening, Matthew. Welcome to the Campfire.
Thank you. Good evening to you.
So, Matthew, tell us a little bit about yourself very quickly. You're a resident of Seattle, and you're a business owner, in the salon and fashion industry. Go ahead and talk about this just a little bit.
Well, I'm actually from a small town, Spokane. Came over to Seattle, and I got my career started in human resources. But I had the opportunity to buy into a hair salon in 1999 with a partner at the time, and realized really quickly that I really enjoyed the industry. So I actually own the salon, but I don't actually do hair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now the Justice and Soul Foundation, human trafficking, sexual exploitation of children, mostly young women. How did you get involved in that? What I mean is the foundation itself.
Well, the foundation came about because one of the things that our salon is known for is our philanthropic outreach within our own community. So we do a lot of work within the community, sponsoring events and giving money to different organizations, as well as sitting on boards. And one of our clients knew of our how much we work in the community and raised the issue with us that they needed vocational support in Cambodia. Mm-hmm. And would we consider coming over to Cambodia and maybe helping set up a school or teaching cosmetology over there? And she was talking to one of our stylists about it, and my stylist approached me and said, would we be willing to do that? And I said, no. We have enough work to do in our own backyard. We don't need to go to Cambodia. But she convinced me that she was a client and I should at least go have coffee with her and hear her out. So I went and I met her for coffee, and 2 hours later realized that I couldn't just turn away from this, that if I could do something, I should be doing something. And I kind of had a little epiphany at that point. So I tell people now that coffee is dangerous.
Mm-hmm. Well, that two-hour conversation changed your life. It
did. It literally changed my life because today I now live in Phnom Penh, and I'm doing a cosmetology school as well as a salon over there. So
what
it was
big. For you personally, Matthew, what was it about that conversation? What was it that grabbed you that way, that just made you go through all this work, create a foundation, go to Phnom Penh, and so forth? What was it about that conversation?
Well, I think what it was, first of all, I knew very little, if anything, about human trafficking. I guess I just really didn't pay attention, and certainly not sex trafficking. And so when I started to hear the numbers and I started to hear the ages of the children that were being put into these brothels, some girls as young as 6 to 8 years old because they're valuable and prized for their virginity. I think what happened is something clicked in me, and I have a granddaughter, and in my mind I was visualizing that these are kids that are younger than my granddaughter, and at that point it was like I just can't sit by and let this happen and not do something.
Mm-hmm.
So
let's talk about your foundation, the Justice and Soul Foundation.
Yeah.
You co-founded that with Lauren Ebright. What does your foundation do? Where does it do it? How does it go about it? What processes does it use? How do you help these people, these young people?
Well, what we did was we wanted to find out the magnitude of the problem and what we could do about it. And Lauren had already been very aware of trafficking, and she was one of our stylists here, so she came to me and said, because we brought it up to the team and said, should we get involved? And they were like, yes, we should do something. And Lauren said, if we do something, I want to be there, I want to be involved. So she pushed, so I really credit her for making this happen because she pushed me to go to Cambodia. I think I kind of said, okay, we'll do something, but then I put it on the back burner. And in 2009, we took a trip over there and met with probably 15 different non-governmental organizations or NGOs. And we realized the thought that we had was we'd just go over and do a quick 3-month training and send these girls off to the village. And one of our NGO partners said, this is a nice idea, your heart's in the right place, but take your toys and go home because it's not going to work. Mm-hmm. And what she said was you need a sustainable model. You need something that will not get donors weary and tired of giving money to. So we went home, we retooled, went back in 2011 with a whole different idea, and that idea was that we would create a high-end hair salon that would target some of the wealthier Cambodians that have money, that want to, go to something that they can be seen spending their money, but also get a good product. And we would also appeal to the expat community and the NGOs that want nice hair. And what we decided is we would use that, we would staff it with volunteers and one educator, and then that would pay for the school, the academy portion of it. So we came back to, at that point, though, when we decided this is what we want to do, we also realized somebody needs to be on the ground in order to make that happen. And I remember vividly to the day when we were in the tuk-tuk riding through the town of the city of Phnom Penh, and I said to Lauren, I think I need to move to Cambodia. Mm-hmm. And then I told her, don't tell a single soul that I just said that because I needed to process it. And we came home and we put our, everything in order. I met with my leadership team and said, I think this is what I'm going to do. And I spent 6 weeks over there to make sure that I could actually live there, and sold everything I had in 2013 and moved over there to start the salon and academy.
Did you actually build the school?
We did. What we did was we went over there and we found space in a new modern high-rise building, and we did the build-out. Yeah, it was very fast. I mean, it was one of those gradually then suddenly situations where we started out in 2008, and it wasn't until 2013 we were ready to go. In January, we started our campaign to raise money, and we did our own online fundraising, and we raised about $50,000 that way. Came back and did a fashion show and raised another $50,000. And from January to July, we built the salon. We hired an educator, and we brought in students. So we have 4 students to open on August. Well, actually, July 25th was our first official day.
I think I want to mention, too, before we get off subject, but you were talking about some of the, the ways you were raising money, rather, and
right.
You just recently had an event called the Fashion Solstice of 2015 here in Seattle on March 28th. That was fairly successful, I understand.
Yeah, it's our second annual. So the first one we did last year, and it was very popular, but this year we doubled we had 550 people in the audience. We had 15 salons participating. And what we did is the salons brought 2 to 5 models, and they showed the latest in fashion, but they tied it to the theme of restoration and hope, which is what Justice and Soul is all about. Mm-hmm. And we raised a net of about $55,000 this year for the program. So, yeah, it was pretty exciting.
You bet. Getting back to the, the young children and the teenage women that you're helping, you don't make the rescues. Your foundation isn't involved in rescuing. That's done by other agencies. But let's talk about these kids. What's the average age? You say you currently have 4 students. What are their ages?
Right. I have, when we started the program, they were as young as 17 and as old as 19. Mm-hmm. So our average age for the students that we're targeting for our program is probably 16 to 17. Our program is a 2-year program, so it's a lot. There's a lot more in-depth work that goes into this, because some of the things we're dealing with is the education levels. Some of our students come to us maybe with junior high or less, maybe 3rd grade and 4th grade education. And since we're teaching true color formulation and things like that, we have to teach math, English. We have to incorporate some of that